You did what I'm saying. If they all hollers, I'm a counterfeit. Yeah, I wanted money, I couldn't enjoy it.
It's your boy, yadiiiigg, 4 eyes, 2 G's, and today we're here to talk about Lil Yachty. After bursting onto the scene with a tape and a successful string of singles and features, Yachty was thrusted into the mainstream spotlight and was the self-proclaimed king of the youth. And at this point, to be honest, he really was the complete artist. He had the image, he had the hits, he had the star power, and to top it off, he was able to deliver with his commercial debut Lil Boat, a project that won many people over and turned haters to fans, cemented him as a legitimate artist, and it turned out to be one of the best projects of 2016. And now it's time for Lil Yachty to prove himself once again. He is on the brink of releasing his debut album Teenage Emotions. However, I think the circumstances are very different from when he was just a fresh face and a rising star, and I think the pressure is on him to deliver, as the climate that Lil Yachty finds himself in right now is not ideal for someone who is about to release a debut album. And I think if he fails to deliver with this project, we could begin to see Lil Yachty fade out of the mainstream consciousness. But why do I think this album is so important and the climate is so poor for Lil Yachty? Well, enough talking and let's dive right in. Also guys, make sure to follow me on all social medias, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Also subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't already. But let's get it. Firstly, let's address Summer Songs 2, and to be honest, this project was a huge flop. Well, it wasn't like a huge ballet flop, but it certainly was a step down from Lil Boat. No matter how you look at it really, quality wise it did not compare to Lil Boat at all. Lil Boat's dual personality concept as a whole was a much stronger idea to begin with, and Yachty used and developed that concept well. And the sound that Yachty came through with on Lil Boat was really refreshing, and that vibe was simply not matched by Summer Songs 2 at all. It felt like by the time that Summer Songs 2 came around, that sound and that vibe had already kind of run its course, and there wasn't much else he could do with it. So it was either he switched it up, developed on it, or he stagnated, and unfortunately it felt like it was the latter. And I'm not hating on Summer Songs 2 because it wasn't a bad project per se, but it certainly was a cut below Lil Boat, and as a whole I think the general consensus is that Lil Boat was much stronger. Secondly, and perhaps more alarmingly, was a dip in numbers. Not a single song from Summer Songs 2 charted, which means that that project didn't have a hit. Here are the Spotify stats from a few months ago for Lil Yachty, and if you look at the biggest song from Summer Songs 2, it was Shoot Out the Roof at 3.7 mil plays, and that pales in comparison to any of Yachty's biggest songs from Lil Boat, and nothing from Summer Songs 2 was able to make it onto his most popular songs. Instead, tracks that were much older and were featured on Lil Boat were still getting played more. So it's clear that Summer Songs 2 was a drop in both popularity and quality from Lil Boat. This means that Yachty was already started on the back foot before he even began to roll out Teenage Emotions, and now that he has already completed the rollout process with 4 singles, we can comfortably say that the climate for Lil Yachty is not ideal, and this is the most worrying sign for me as a fan. Yachty is like 0 from 4 with all of his singles for me, because personally I haven't felt particularly strongly for or against any of them. They were all kind of alright, but like nothing special, and in general, looking online, people have not been overly gravitating towards the singles either. Bring It Back was met with mixed, mostly poor reception. Harley got a better response than Bring It Back, but it still didn't have everybody going crazy, and I thought it was quite average to be honest. Peekaboo probably did the best, but even still it hasn't really made a dent commercially. It did chart, but it's basically off the charts at this point at number 99. And lastly, X-Men, I personally like the most, but it didn't really grab my attention and I haven't been replaying it much at all, and that seems to ring true for most people. Just look on the plays on Yachty's SoundCloud and they are shockingly low. How is X-Men only at 100k plays in over 4 days? And this was released as a single. Bring It Back is only at 400k, Harley is at 700k, and Peekaboo is doing decent at 5 million, but even still, it's not like Peekaboo was some huge hit. It's doing okay, but really it's the best of the worst if we're being honest. And it's not only on SoundCloud either. Look at Spotify and it's the same. Peekaboo is the only single that seems to be doing alright. The other songs aren't even on his most popular tracks, aside from Bring It Back, and that only sits at just over 1.3 million plays. And I do understand that hits take time to bubble and you can't expect everything to take off right away, but getting just over 100,000 plays in 4 days when you're a week away from your debut album is not a good sign. Putting your own views aside on these songs, I think we can all objectively agree that so far these songs have been relative flops, and none of the singles were quite that huge smash hit that you want leading into a debut album. However, it is not all doom and gloom for Lil Yachty. He does have a hit right now with I Spy, so that is a good sign. But still, we all know that feature hits aren't quite the same as having your own song doing numbers. But it certainly doesn't hurt to have a song that you're featuring on being played everywhere, especially leading up to your album release. Adding to this was the whole Joe Budden vs Lil Yachty controversy, which has made his name make all sorts of headlines. Honestly though, as is shown through the case with Young Thug, controversy does not equal sales. And as is shown through the case with Stitches, controversy does certainly not equal quality either. So although this is undeniably good publicity for Lil Yachty, it doesn't mean that it drastically affects the current climate that Lil Yachty finds himself in. Overall, I think without the Joe Budden controversy, and especially I Spy, the situation would be looking much worse than it is. But still, numbers do not lie, and when you look at Yachty's numbers, a poorly received project that didn't even do well commercially, and all of his lead singles really failing to make a huge lasting impact, the numbers really make the situation look less than ideal. So no matter how you look at it, Yachty absolutely has to deliver with this project. A sink in numbers, a sink in quality, and a poor album rollout all adds up. And although I Spy does ease the blow as it continues to top the charts, the situation is far from ideal, and this album will certainly play a huge role in how we see his career go from here. If it's a flop commercially and reception wise, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Lil Yachty begin to fade. But in saying that, I am a Lil Yachty fan, so I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope he's able to come through with another Lil Boat caliber project once again. Alright guys, that's all from me today. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you think about the topic. Are you anticipating Teenage Emotions? And what do you think it'll mean for Lil Yachty? Please like, subscribe, and follow me on all social medias for more.